Music.
Welcome to episode 323 of the SND podcast. And of course, before we even get into anything tonight, which we don't have any clue of what we're going to be talking about, so this should be fun for all you followers. Steve Kerr said the best, but of course, our thoughts and prayers are with everybody in Texas right now, especially the families dealing with what they're dealing with on Tuesday the 26th as we record on the 25th. The 24th, sorry. We're recording on the 25th. What happened on the 24th? If you haven't seen the Steve Kerr video from the Warriors, go on the Warriors Instagram
if you
page.
haven't, you're living under a rock.
Right, yeah, but still, just go watch that video because it's 100% the truth. And I'm actually kind of surprised based on what he was saying. You know, like when everybody was in bubbles, this type of stuff would have been all right. We're shutting down the sport for the day. I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten in that direction yet when it comes to especially something like this.
I guess that was the playoffs too, right?
Yeah,
that was the NBA and NHL playoffs when they all shut down.
Yep.
During the summer, and again, you're in the playoffs and you have all the sports and think about it. They're losing. They're actually going to lose money this time if they were to stop.
right. And actual venues would be affected by it. That's probably why.
Yeah, and then they got to reschedule things. You know, a lot of the arenas now they have a playoff game and then there's a concert or something the next night.
For example, the Who's playing at the Garden tomorrow night. So
last week they
tonight
had
when you're listening.
Last week they had Limp Bizkit at the Garden. They had to figure out the schedule around that, and
I think the same thing might happen with Colorado and the. No. One of the series skipped a day.
Imagine revolving around your schedule with Limp Bizkit in 2022.
I mean, honestly,
the Panthers Lightning had to play a back-to-back. Right. That's what it was when they got to Tampa. Like it mattered.
They ended up
anyway
not playing the back-to-back, right? Because they won.
No, they did.
No, they played back-to-back.
Game 3 and 4. 3 was Sunday. 4 was Monday.
That's what it was. Saturday. I remember looking Saturday night. And there was only one game. Okay.
Right. I was confused by it. I looked, and then Tampa had something going on there Saturday, so they had to do it back, and it didn't matter anyway because the Panthers are the most overrated.
We had that.
We also shared a stadium with a team a basketball.
I think it was I think it was in one of the Barclay series. We had to go back to back.
I think maybe the Carolina series.
That might have been it. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. There was something with I think like wrestling or boxing Friday night Golden Gloves or something that they had to do it. But still, I'm kind of surprised they didn't because that would have sent a bigger message than I think, franchises being like, yo, forget our venue and revenue. We're going to get it when we reschedule this game for whenever type of thing. But still, it's just, devastating that we're just consistently talking about it. And
I mean, it sucks. And it sucks that it's this. Like when we have this conversation as often as we do,
Right.
I read something today that threw me back. It was like it's 144 days or something into the year 2022. There's already over 200 mass shootings in the United States.
We've had 288 mass shootings so far. 40 of them have been this month. So we're already, it's significantly more than one a day, almost 2 a day at this point.
And then the next country behind us has less than 10 in the year. I think it was. Every other country is less.
Figured it out.
And
if we try to figure it out, it'll be more of the mass conversation. And now if they take our guns, they're gonna take over the world and inject us with chips and things. And I just,
like Kerr said, there's a bill in the Senate that was already voted and passed on by the House that's been sitting there for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And the senators are just sitting on it and don't want to vote on it. So
yeah, because
it's all about the power.
Their pocketbooks would be hurt.
Yep.
Also, like, who needs an automatic weapon in general? Like, you don't hunt with automatic weapons.
No.
I mean, you don't. There's no
You don't take an
reason.
assault rifle to
No,
Pennsylvania to shoot deer.
no, because if you shot it once, they don't run away.
Anyway, we kind of got into the NHL playoffs, so we're gonna shift gears. Tampa's being Tampa, playoff Tampa.
They're going for the three-peat.
Do you dislike Tampa, Steven? And
I'm going to give. Ready for this? I am going to give a shout out to Cord Lehman for this statistic. The Tampa Bay Lightning have 3 Stanley Cup banners in their stadium, in their arena. Only one of those occurred during an 82 game season.
Sure. 04, 05. Or 03, 04. Whatever one before the lockout was.
Right. I just find that interesting. I don't really care. Honestly, I rooted for them because, it's just who at this point who isn't rooting for the Toronto Maple Leafs to win 3 games in the first round and then get knocked out of the playoffs? It's like
right.
It's like tradition at this point in the NHL.
But I mean, I saw a lot of discourse of Islander fans being like, who do we root for? Yada yada. I've never really. The only person I dislike with Tampa is their coach, and he's a good coach, but it's just every time they lose, and this is consistent.
He's got a complaint.
Series. Every time they lose, it's because his team fucked up. He's never gotten beat in his life. It's like every time the Islanders beat them, oh, we gave them that one. Oh, the Leafs beat them. Oh, we gave them that one. You lost like 5-0 game 1. Oh, we gave them that one. What are you saying? That was the only thing that, and it's probably like he's probably a good coach because of it. Like he knows what he needs.
But it annoys me every time. Lacrosse player. Don't forget the great Hofstra lacrosse player, John Cooper.
Sure. So it annoys me, but everybody.
Right? That's what he played, Danny. I think it was lacrosse, right?
I guess.
I respect the hell out of them. Every time we played them, I was like, they're the better team, and I know it. So I just hope we can, fake our way through this.
And if you think about it, last year we were a missed too many men on the ice call away from possibly going to overtime in Game 7, and who knows what happens at that point.
They could have played Game 7 for 7 periods. We wouldn't have scored on him. He's ridiculous.
And it is absolutely insane. Like Danny mentioned it in our Mets chat about the Mets, and I forgot what the stat was about wins after the loss. Like this is the first time. Today was the first time.
Yeah,
I think it was 13 in a row. The Mets had won after a loss.
Right. The Lightning haven't lost the game after a playoff game in 4 years.
They haven't lost back-to-back playoff games, I think, in this run since they got swept. So they got swept against Columbus in 2019. And since then, they haven't lost back-to-back playoff games. And in the games his team clinches the series, he's given up 1 goal in the past 7 times.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's ridiculous.
And then on top of it too, it's like this was since that Columbus series, they haven't lost a series. And 4 minutes in, it is 1-0 Colorado.
Yeah. Well, so I listened to a 32 Thoughts podcast. They made an interesting point. Do you think? I mean, this is dumb sports radio talk. Do you think a 3 in a row in a salary cap era is equivalent or close to like a 4 in a row in the 70s of the Canadians or the 80s of the Islanders? Like the difficulty. Because I think
based on what I said before about the 3 banners and the seasons, the 1 year you gotta kind of question it. You gotta look at is the bubble year, right?
See, I go back
the bubble year is a little more difficult if you think about it because you had that big break. Now you got to get back into a groove, and it was a quick turnaround getting back into a groove.
Right.
Getting all the tests done. It was a different environment, so I thought that was actually like kind of a difficult year to do it. But still, like I to this day, and I vouch for this, the Islanders don't go to the Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble. if they're in the bubble, if they're not in the bubble, because Pellick's gone for the year, and he was the number one, and they started playing like crap when he got hurt.
Yeah.
He doesn't come
Pellick-
back if they don't play in August.
Right. Pellick doesn't come back. And then, I mean,
You don't get that break. They were playing. They were going to miss out on the playoffs.
They probably were going to miss the playoffs. But the thing about the bubble too, and I look back on this a lot, especially this season because of how like on and off they played. How much of that was luck? I think the Islanders got extremely lucky in the bubble because in the qualifying round, they were the only team in the qualifying round I thought that got the best matchup they could, because the other like teams that, you know, because it was the bottom, it was 12 teams technically made it. I think like 12 was the Rangers, 11,
right. And that didn't even count because they played a game against Carolina, and
right. Well, they got destroyed, but they were, remember, on fire leading into it. They were going to be the ones that passed us. I don't remember who 11 was. Then it was Montreal. I forget. And then we played Florida. They had already sold the deadline, and Bobrovsky stunk that year. Like that was by far the easiest matchup. And then the next round they played the Caps. The Caps didn't want to be there. The Caps had one foot out the door.
The 12 team was the Canadiens. The Rangers were 11.
Okay, so the Canadiens beat the Penguins in the first round. Then the Rangers were 11, and they were one of the hottest teams in the league. They lost to the Hurricanes. We played Florida, and then Columbus beat Toronto.
Right, we were the 7.
Correct, because they went by winning percentage and whatever. So
yeah,
again, Florida had already sold. Bobrovsky stunk. Washington didn't want to be there. One foot out the door as soon as they got in. And then
they had in a hotel that they weren't allowed to have anybody in with them. And
then the third round, because of the weird 4-game thing that happened before, like because they played a round robin with the other teams, we ended up with Philly. Philly was by far the worst team of the teams that finished in the top 4.
Yeah, 100%.
So
right, because they did the qualifying first round, and then they had that little round robin to figure out who was going to be the best team. Philly ended up with the number 1 seed.
Correct. So
and then they had to play Montreal, and then they got to play Montreal.
Boston and Tampa didn't care about that thing.
Right. Washington was partying the whole time. They didn't care.
Right. So Philly got 1. We beat Washington and then had to play Philly, who I mean, they should have won. The Islanders should have won that series in 5.
I mean, you and I both said it. Like, that was the series. You and I were texting each other, and we said Corey Hart's going to be a pain in the ass to play against for the next 10 years.
Yeah, he was the only reason.
And then the next year started, and we played Corey Hart once, and we were like, I can't wait to play this guy for the next 10 years. Carter Hart, sorry.
Yeah,
Corey Hart's the baseball player.
Corey Hart's the baseball player.
Wish that guy was playing goalie that year in the playoffs. We would have won it for.
Yeah. And then so I look at it, this is going back to Tampa, I look at it as between the bubble and the short off season, and then you're playing a whole season against 7 people. That's crazy. Like 60 games with 56 games against 6 other teams. That was nuts. And so I think all of that made it harder. I think it's more impressive.
And also you got to think about it when you think about it, salary cap wise, is the other way. Is you look at it and you say, wait a minute, you guys found the loophole that every team needs with the Kucherov thing. That was a loophole. They found the loophole. And I will always say this. If a team finds a loophole and they get through it and they do it and you can't go back and penalize it. I was frustrated, but what am I going to do?
It was 100% a loophole. But that guy had legitimate surgery that kept him out. He probably would have came back with like a month left in the season. And that's also your best player, the last full season MVP before that year. So I'm not like, if you want a loophole, you want to try the Vegas Golden Knights just tried it. They traded for Jack Eichel
and put
they were not allowed to have a full roster. They had to have somebody hurt in order to play.
Right. So, that's why Mark Stone was out for the year.
Right. Mark Stone was out for the year because they couldn't have them both on the team. They were just hoping that one of them being on the ice would get them to the playoffs, and then they could unleash everybody. And it didn't work. And now they think they have to lose. They're in cap hell. They have to trade everybody. Yeah.
They're in NHL hell.
Putting your best player on IR isn't the best idea.
Right, and the league already stepped in, and they're already making rules to get around it, and the player
You have to,
associations on top of it, and they're all agreeing in it. But
yeah,
again, back
they
to
check a little more. Like they like do their own independent.
this is what I'm also going to say about the Panthers. Also, two things. One, President's Trophy means nothing in this league anymore.
That was a bogus President's Trophy, to be completely honest. They won 13 games in 3-on-3 overtime, and with their roster, they're built for 3-on-3 overtime.
But still, it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
Think about it. That year that the Lightning won, it was the year they got swept by Columbus.
Yeah,
they won
Washington
the
the same thing. The year, I think 2 years before,
something like that. Yeah, but when
Yeah.
Tampa won the President's Trophy, if you remember correctly, they won the President's Trophy in like January.
Yeah,
They were so far ahead of the game in January that people just stopped caring.
Yeah.
Nobody cared anymore.
Not even close. And then they got swept in the first round.
And then they got swept in the first round. And that's when they were like, you know what? We're going to take one step back. We're going to relax. And we're going to let things happen. And we're just going to make the playoffs. They're a team full of LeBron Jameses. They're like, all right, all I got to do is get to the playoffs and then I'll turn it on.
I think even they were definitely the 3 seed in their division this year. And I think they were the 3 seed in their division.
They were the wild card team. Weren't they the wild card team?
This year? They were definitely the 3 seed. Toronto was 2, and in division, it was Florida, Toronto, Tampa, and then the wild card teams were Boston and Washington, I think. But last year in the shortened season, I think they were the 3 seed in their division.
Playoffs 20.
I don't know. Last year was so weird paying attention to the other divisions, like you just didn't have to.
It didn't matter anyway. They were the 3 seed. It was Carolina, Florida, Tampa, Nashville.
Right. And then they beat Florida and then beat Carolina, I think.
Yes. Beat Florida, beat Carolina, and then beat us to play the Vegas. Because remember, the semifinals reseeded.
Right.
Semis reseeded. And then this year, they were the 3.
There were 3 in the division. It's like it was probably like 5th overall, but yeah, they were 3 in there. But again, like you said, they don't.
If you wanted to go overall, they would have been in the East. Panthers 122, Toronto 150, Carolina 116. So those are 1 and 2. Toronto was the 3 at 115.
And then I think they were 4.
Tampa and the Rangers both had 110. So they would have they probably would have played each other if you don't.
Right, they would have been 4 and 5 in the old thing, which they should 100% go back to. I hate this format so much.
I don't mind it. It is what it is. It's more fun.
Yeah, I don't. I miss the old.
I'm sick of playing the Penguins every fucking first round.
The other thing I was going to say about the Panthers is this was their first playoff series win since 1996. We did this a couple years ago when we won for the first time in JTP Florida. So we know the feeling. I completely understand you guys going way too crazy and losing in the next round after that because we did the same thing.
They apparently went out to the strip club after game 3.
Yeah.
It's Florida, bro.
Would you keep Andrew Burnett, their coach?
I would keep him if not for there are rumors that they're just going to bring Quenneville back. It seems like a foregone conclusion at this point that somebody's going to go to Bettman and say, we want to interview Quenneville, and he's going to let him back in, and it could be them.
I can see it.
I hope not. It would be dumb, but it just seems like that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, who knows? But also, back to your question from a lot earlier.
Yeah,
we're going to be rooting for Tampa if the Rangers win the next 2 games with how they're playing.
That's going to be some matchup if the Rangers find a way to win on the road. The Rangers win on the road, they screw themselves after game 1.
Well, there's reports of Trouba not playing game 5.
Is he suspended?
They're looking into it, apparently.
I don't think he should have been.
Absolutely should not be suspended.
It's playoff hockey. You let them play.
He was falling down.
Yeah, he was 100% falling down.
The real question is, did Jordan Benton throw a water bottle? I can't believe that's a thing. Like,
here's the thing, especially like
the
that
guy who ran into him.
Yeah, Jordan Bennington is a crybaby. He's
a little girl,
fucking crybaby. So now Kadri is a crazy person who runs people over, sure,
but he got pushed.
He did get pushed. That play was not his fault. He has like tried to murder people like 3 times already and got suspended for it. But Bennington is
that was when he was in Toronto.
Well, it was in Toronto, but then he did it his first year, and what I think it was in the bubble. He did it again,
right?
But yeah, I mean, Bennington's a crybaby. It's absolutely, and then people are giving him death. I mean, it's again, this is another thing like the conversation we had earlier. The fact that players getting death threats and like having to call the cops is like a normal thing we deal with is ridiculous.
Right.
And like it's obviously it's heightened for him because he's Muslim, so people throw racist shit at him. But I mean, every player who fucks up gets death threats.
Did you guys see the stuff his wife was posting?
Yeah, and you got to think about this. That's stuff his wife posted. Think about what she didn't post. Think about what she sent to the cops. It's ridiculous.
Pretty wild.
I hope they win. I want the Colorado to win the whole thing. And now they're up 2-0. Oh wow, that was a hell of a save. Never mind.
Who the hell is this goalie? This goalie's already better than Bennington.
Billy Husso. He had a great year.
Right, he was the starter. He got blown out in one of the games.
Right, and they put Bennington back in.
Let's talk more about the Rangers series, since that series has been fun as well.
It has been fun. Fuck
the thing that makes it fun is, well, first off, I tweeted it out on Sunday after the game. We always talk about this. Playoff series don't start till every team has a home game.
Right. Sure.
No, so 2-0 means nothing in a series unless it's a best out of 5. It's the only way 2-0 means anything. Because then it's all the pressures on the team in game 3.
What hurts the Rangers was game 1, playing good for 40 minutes, and then the third period they just fell flat and stopped playing.
They played Carolina hockey.
It was like 51 minutes.
It was like 51
right?
minutes.
Yeah. It was like they gave a goal with like was it?
But they were buzzing the whole period.
It was like 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, they were going the period.
But still, like, that's Carolina at home though. They're gonna put their best players on the ice against your worst players.
It was just a buzz tour.
Yeah,
they rock out. Shout out to the lady for wearing the NYPD hat and then hitting the Ranger fan in game 1, wearing an NYPD hat, being dragged out by the cops and then hitting a cop. Shout out to that lady. Thank God you got it. Thank God you beat the system and got into the game in Carolina, lady.
This is you can buy them on secondary markets, right? That's just a Ticketmaster thing.
It's also Carolina, so half of that state is migrated from New York.
I know, but I'm like, you can't buy tickets if you're outside a zip code from Ticketmaster. StubHub doesn't have this thing. They can't control StubHub or SeatGeek or whatever you use. And who buys tickets from Ticketmaster anyway? If you're going to an NHL playoff game, they're all sold out.
So they claim.
Most of the time, I don't know.
They're supposed to be sold out.
People get like mad at that stuff, and I'm like, it doesn't.
I was over it. As soon as I saw the article and all the Ranger fans were complaining about it, I'm like, every team does this.
It's whatever.
It's been remember, they haven't been in the playoffs in a lot of years, so
you forget.
Right. The Rangers are playing well enough to win. Carolina was the best matchup. I said this to a bunch of people I know. The Rangers got lucky in their first matchup. If Igor played better, the series would have been over a lot sooner. Igor did not play well in that first series.
That's what it came down. Also, it definitely turned when Sid got hurt.
Well, we knew that Sid was just going to sit. That's
what I'm saying.
We already talked about crybabies in this episode, Vin.
Right. No, but I can't say a team gets lucky when they're playing the best player. One of the best players in the world.
Right. And I think with the Rangers, they finally found their groove. It was like the first time 99% of the team is in the playoffs against a veteran team. I don't think it was lucky at all. But
like I said, Igor got beat. Was like he's just that pressure was just got to him.
And I also think a lot of it had to do the defense just didn't show up to help him out as well. I think it was a good
Yeah.
combo of that. And now they're finding their groove. They just got to find a way to win tomorrow. If they win tomorrow, it's over.
If they win tomorrow, Tampa's going to start getting ready for them because there's no way they're coming back. I can't see a scenario where they come back to the Garden.
No.
The Hurricanes can't win on the road.
It's insane how much of a different team they are from the first two games. Well, the 4 periods in Carolina and the 2 games in New York. They're like night and day.
I don't know. Carolina's weird though.
And
you know what else is
Raanta played great in the first.
You know what? You know what's interesting about that? What you just said, Danny, with Raanta playing good. Anderson was on the ice full practice yesterday. Before Game 4, in the morning.
It's not Ranta's fault,
right? But
you have to go back to your starter, right?
They already said, Brindamore already said they would not go back to him unless it's needed.
Because let's go through the goals the Rangers scored last night. It was the one tip in, the bouncer through his arm, the Sabanajak goal that should have been stopped. I'm trying to remember the first goal.
It was from Frank Vetrano, which I think he's a defenseman.
No, he's a
center.
He's a winger. Yeah.
Why don't I think
he's a forward?
All right, Fox scored, Zibanejad scored, Vetrano scored.
Fox was a tip in.
And then Kopp. I was gonna say I thought it was an empty net, but it wasn't. It wasn't an empty net. So that was his really first bad game though, because game 3 was basically a 2-1 game, right? They scored an empty netter at the end.
Right.
I'm not gonna say for this game, for Game 5, but I think you think about it if you lose Game 5.
That's fair.
You're going to at least think about it if you lose Game 5.
Sure.
Because now it's like, all right, this goalie's getting rattled. We didn't play well at the Garden. Now we got to play with him again.
The thing about him and rattled is like he's won a cup already.
Yeah, wasn't he the starter on one of the Hawks teams that won the cup?
He was the starter on the last Hawks team. At least in the playoff run, he was. So
I don't think it's really him being rattled. It's just going with the
sure. Anderson had a great. I think Anderson's nominated for the Vezina. Like he just had a great season.
Right.
I don't think he was nominated for the Vezina.
He might not have been, but he was up there.
He just missed probably.
I know it was Igor. Oh, he actually was.
Yeah,
Igor, Markstrom, and Anderson.
And Markstrom's been getting his ass kicked.
And like, what's going to be interesting?
I'm still trying to figure out how that goal went in Edmonton yesterday with Mike Smith.
If the Rangers advance, it's going to be a fun talking point of Russian goalies of who's the best goalie in the world.
We already know that answer in that series. Tampa's got two straight
Stanley
Cups, and the guy's undefeated. The guy doesn't give up goals, and the guy is the size of the net.
It's still going to be a storyline.
It's still going to be Shesterkin had a great season. You can't deny that.
It's still going to be a storyline, no matter how much you laugh at it.
If it does come down to the Tampa Rangers, and this is nothing against the Rangers, it's just Tampa's just they know what they're doing. They're not worried about.
Right.
They're not going to be worried about it.
And, I'm talking about a fan's standpoint of things.
The players and you talked about three of the best players in the world: Stamkos, Hedman, Kucherov.
I mean, yeah.
Goalie, like that team is just up and down.
They're stupid. Ryan McDonough. Their defense with Hedman, McDonough, and Sergachev is just
saying.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
Just saying. Could have drafted Hedman over Tavares, and it could have been a lot different.
It's so funny because every time we only played them once with JT, and Hedman just destroyed him. Like it wasn't even close.
And that was the year that they won. They got to the second round for the first time.
Yeah, with the after the Panthers.
And yeah, you're right. Hedman just destroyed them. Listen, I was pulling for. Despite him being on Philly, I'm a big Claude Giroux supporter. Like I just think he's one of the most fun players in the league.
Sure. So you
Up and
wanted
down.
them to. I'm interested to see where he goes. Like what his.
Well, he pulled a Ryan Smith and said he's not against going back to Florida after what they built.
There was going back to Florida or going back to Philly.
Going back, he said today in locker room cleanout day that he's not against going back to Florida after what they built and all the stuff. But Ryan Smith said the same
Ryan
thing
Smith
when they
said
were
that?
cleaning up.
Yeah, he's gone.
So
Ryan.
welcome back to Philadelphia, Claude Giroux. Might as well just might as well just sign the contract now.
There was a thing that like I don't know. There was a story with him with Giroux. No, with Giroux. That was like because he has a no trade clause and he would have waived it to anybody if they would have said like we'll bring you back after the season, and they said no apparently. So I don't think he's going back. And then that's why he like at the time they could only trade him to Florida. It was his only. He was like that's where I'm going, and you have to figure it out.
Well,
so
it was that, and also they were like apparently like one of the only teams to actually make the offer.
Sure, but
basically.
I'm sure
other teams offered, but they were offering it. They were going all in this year. They were all in.
Yeah, they don't have any first round picks for the next 3 years, I think.
And Seattle has 30 first round picks for the next 5 years. So they could just call Seattle and be like,
terrible.
Who do you want for some first rounders?
Changing topics because I'm annoyed at the Mets today. How are you guys feeling about the Mets in general?
It's the same I had last week with Steve.
We're hitting that lump. Somebody said it. I forgot who it was, but this is why you built the leads like you did. And there was a stat I saw today, and I don't know what I just did with my cell phone to find it.
The stat is they're 11-9 in their last 20 games,
and they gained like
2.5 games in the standings.
Which honestly,
okay. Now so that
I'm in the ballpark of let's just keep on winning series and it'll work itself out. Obviously this week was very discouraging playing the Giants and
because
last night
we split the road trip. You go on a road trip like this, you come back 500. You're content.
You're not wrong, but this is a series. Even though everything that happened yesterday, they should have lost 2 out of 3 this series.
No, I agree.
They played like they should lose 2 out of 3. Well, they scored 28 runs or something like that.
Yeah. It's just like me and Steve brought up last week is they got to just find ways to keep swimming, especially with DeGrom and Max. Just who knows when they're coming back.
And they're coming home to 2 really struggling teams.
I'm so sick.
It's just so weird.
I'm so sick of the Phillies.
The schedule is so dumb. It's the 4th time we played the Phillies already.
Yeah,
I'm sick of
it. And we have to go back to the West Coast.
Right, and we haven't played the Marlins once.
Yeah,
we're going to the West Coast twice before we play the Marlins. We're going to the West Coast twice before we play the Marlins.
We played the Diamondbacks twice in a month. We played the Giants, done already.
Cardinals.
2 West Coast trips, 0 Marlins games.
And you forgot the Cardinals. We're done with the Marlins.
Already played the Cardinals too. This is the dumb thing. Sorry, Danny. Go ahead.
No, it's like I mentioned last week. They got to just find ways to keep swimming. Obviously, we got outplayed by the Giants the last 2 nights. It was just they're just a scrappy team that just doesn't quit, which is great to see. We could have laid down like dogs the last 2 days and just be done with it. But this is what we were talking about last week. This kind of start of, we're not going to get anything from our starting pitcher and we're ready out of the hole and we're in trouble kind of day.
It's like Bassett is not gonna pitch like that old. I mean, he's the one I'm most confident in. You have bad starts, whatever. They should just keep...
Cookies pitched really well too.
Cookies looked good. I like Peterson.
Look at what Cookie did in Colorado.
He was. Did you hear? Like they've been saying it. They said it like 4 times. He's like, I was out of breath. He's like, my stuff was weird.
You know, he's never pitched there.
Never. He was in Cleveland the whole time.
That
was the first game he's ever played in Colorado.
Yeah.
And Walker's
when we went there
last couple starts.
Oh no! Wasn't last year the weird schedule? We didn't do travel, or we did travel.
We went to Colorado last year, but he was out for.
I think it was hurt when he Right.
Yeah.
He didn't come back till the end of July. We saw his first start. It was the end of July.
Right. It was the trade deadline. He was back.
Right.
I think
that was the day of the
we had
trade
already gone. Right. So the 4 guys that they have, Bassett, Cookie, Walker, Peterson, have pitched well. And Trevor Williams is actually pitching well in his.
Yeah, he's not pitching terribly.
So like,
listen, it's not his fault. He's the guy they're throwing. He's the guy, like Tommy said in the chat today, the veteran guy that you throw in there and you say, "Hey, you're our inning guy today."
Right, but he also like he's made the start against the Marlins.
We don't play the Marlins, Vin. They're
like,
banished from our schedule
made the
forever.
start against the Cardinals in the Pete Walkoff game and pitched fine, and then he pitched today and pitched fine. So I think the plan going forward should just be he starts and it's sort of a bullpen day. Like, figure out somebody. I don't know if it's like they just sent that Nogasek guy down, but he's pitched pretty well too. Figure out somebody to get another 2 innings out of, and you go a 4-2 kind of back-to-back thing, and then you threw 6 innings and you figure out the rest of the game.
But the key to them is that this year they went back to limiting the call-ups and call-downs.
Right, you can only send the guy up and down 5 times in a season.
Right. So eventually, at some point, Nozak's got to become either an official roster guy or.
I mean, yeah, but whatever it is, even if it's if you set it up where it's Seth Lugo to back him up, it doesn't matter to me.
Oh, here.
Because now the other thing is you have an extra spot technically. Because if you're moving Williams into the rotation for all intents and purposes, then somebody takes his spot in the bullpen, which is technically taking Max's spot on the roster, whatever.
Well, you also got to
find out who that person is,
and hopefully
McGill's back in.
McGill's throwing, so who knows what his timeline is at this point. He started throwing, and they said he picked up intensity this week. There was that video of DeGrom that surfaced throwing,
and then Heyman tweeted out that he could be back before the All-Star break.
Because he smiled, because Heyman saw the video of him smiling on the field and having a catch with somebody.
Well, Heyman's saying that
But Heyman knows what he's talking about.
He knows with the Mets. He's got sources for sure with the Mets. So he's saying they think late June could be a target for him.
Which would be huge.
Which would be great. I mean, if we
can when he should pitch? When we play the Marlins. We'll just let him pitch against the Marlins because nobody knows the scouting report against him because we don't play the Marlins ever.
When do we play the Marlins finally?
It's like mid-June. It's like Father's Day weekend.
We finish out the month with the Phillies and the goddamn Nationals. That just scares me because it's weird.
We're playing them.
Father's Day weekend, 18-19, perfect. June
17th through 20th. I have a question. Why is a random June 20th game on Monday at the end of June at 1 p.m.?
It's a weird wraparound thing because they have 2 games with the Astros. I don't know. That's strange. I guess because they have to fly to Houston. That's probably what it is.
Real. Oof.
I know it's not. Okay, so and then they play them again right here on my birthday, June 26th. Jacob deGrom first game done. Lock it in.
In Miami.
Fine. I don't care. He pitched great in Miami all the time. He hit a home run that time. You don't remember? He struck out like 14 and hit a homer.
Yeah, that was awesome, and we still lost.
I probably think we did. I don't know. Maybe we might have won that game. I don't remember. If they can, I'm very confident. If they can.
Also, we're going to be done with them before the All-Star game. It looks like.
Not
we play them again in another 4-game series in July.
If they cannot have their bullpen and therefore their week get destroyed by the one start, the other 4 will be fine. I'm not really that worried.
They just can't get anybody hurt. No more.
I've hit the point where I want Patterson to stay.
Peterson has pitched very well.
Yeah. I want him to stay here and not go up and down again.
But that's my thing. When the 2 of them, Lord heavens mercy forbid, the 2 of them come back at the end of July.
Let's just say All-Star game after the All-Star game.
I'm putting McGill and Peterson in the bullpen because then you get a tick up in velocity. They could get some extra innings. Like besides the fact that Trevor May is hurt, they still need another guy on top of Trevor May.
Right, he's not even a guy that he's not reliable.
I know Danny hates Trevor May. And
Vin's the one that pays for his Twitch. Vin's the one that pays for the Trevor May Twitch channel.
No, like all right, with Trevor May, it sucks that he got hurt.
Right.
Yeah. Is he my favorite Met of all time? Absolutely not. But we are missing him dearly.
Right. If he's the fourth righty in your bullpen behind Ottavino and Lugo and Diaz, that's fine. That's what he was here to do.
Right. Absolutely.
My favorite thing on Twitter. Today we were driving to a thing and I was driving to a delivery and I'm reading Twitter. And I'm like, oh, Diaz is losing it. He's going back to the old Diaz. No, he's pitched great. And now he's starting to just bring it back a little bit. It's the middle of May. We're all struggling.
Well, the base hit he gave up was 101 miles per hour. He just left it over the plate.
The Giants,
we're chugging. That's what we're doing. We're chugging along. It's the middle of May.
Yeah,
if we're struggling like
gotta
this,
keep the pace.
Listen, if they're struggling, come the All-Star break, we can start complaining. Now we start looking into the moves. I don't want this road trip to become we need to make a move right now move.
No.
I don't want to hear about this big trade that we make tomorrow because we feel like we need a bat or we need a starting pitcher like right now.
I don't think we need a bat.
I think we eventually do need a bat.
Oh, I agree. Because
I'm just happy that Jeff McNeil listened to that guy the other night when he was saying no power, and then McNeil almost hit it.
We have enough offense right now. It's just the defense. The pitching just has to stay healthy, and we can't overuse the arms in the pen. Which
also,
is
I
scary.
want 10 drug tests for Jock Peterson.
Well, he had that one meeting with Barry last night.
He did have a meeting with Barry Bonds.
Well,
he's
there you go.
4 home runs since.
They do need an actual
this year's Kyle Schwarber. Thank God we don't have to play him anymore.
It's over. Thank God we're done with the Giants. We do need an actual DH because the DH thing is just not working. I know Dom had a couple hits the other day. 2 nights ago.
Well,
I don't even know who
had
DH.
A good night on Monday.
JD, right, and JD's been hitting the ball pretty well.
Escobar had 3 hits the other night, or 4 hits the other night. Finally starting.
But if it just seems like it's too easy, like it shouldn't cost that much to just trade for the Nationals are not keeping Nelson Cruz, and he's been shit. So
it's 7 years later. Get over him.
What I'm just saying, a guy like
Jr.
that. A guy like that, just
I know what you're saying, Vin. I don't, and the SNY's been floating around JD Martinez as well.
Right. That's a you're eating the contract and you're getting stuff with that.
Right.
If that's the way you want to go.
There's other contracts that the Mets can eat too.
Sure, but JD Martinez is still good. Anybody, it doesn't matter who.
Yeah, And Frankie's been playing well. We mentioned him last week as well. So
a lot of discourse on Twitter about him, but he
excuse me, Vincent, ignoring my my message that the Lucas Duda home run that he hit.
I you know what? I was up a little bit last night. I was watching the finale of This Is Us. Good show.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a good show. I didn't watch it. I refuse to watch the last 2 episodes.
Why?
Because I don't feel like crying.
Oh, Danny, not this one.
Nicole's watching it right now as we speak.
The last weeks will make you cry for sure.
I know.
Anyway,
my mom kissed me on the head after the episode, so God. I can only imagine.
It's emotional. Anyway, I'll never rewatch that show. That's not you can't casually watch that show. Every episode,
it was a good show.
Cry. Anyway, so I stayed up a little late. I fell asleep. I came home and passed out and woke up and it was 8-0 or whatever it was. I think it was 9-1 when I woke up. So I missed the homer. But listen, he's hitting the ball well. That's all that matters.
Right.
Pete's doing his thing. McNeil, hopefully he's okay. It was just a knee thing, apparently. He'll be all right.
Yeah, and then Canna, Nimmo, and they're just going to keep on getting on base.
Best player.
So,
by the way, if you follow Mark Cannon on Instagram, this guy loves food.
Yeah,
his entire Instagram. Foodie is dedicated to food.
When he got traded here.
So,
since when is hanging on the TNT word, Chris?
He was like posting pictures from Colorado and everything he was eating. I was like, that looks like crap. I will never eat it, but good for you, sir.
Anyway,
Good for
what's
you.
up, Danny?
How about this? So who do the Mets play this weekend? We play the Phillies and then who?
Philly and then Washington, both at home.
Okay,
Coming to
so
town.
it's time to get right with those two teams. We know Philly's gonna give us a hassle like always. Depending on how we play against Washington with Soto.
And it's Cookie on Friday, and then that the great to be determined for the next 5 days after that.
They haven't figured out. They were saying today whether they
Cookie
want to
pitched
go
Saturday game 1, so they don't know. They couldn't figure out who's going to pitch. No,
No,
last Saturday he pitched
last
game
Saturday
1.
was the one.
Yeah, then it was Williams.
Right. So but the Williams spot
And they have the day off on Thursday.
Right. So the Williams spot was technically today, but they're off tomorrow. So Cookie's going Friday. They said they can pitch Bassett on Saturday, which would be full rest, but since he got roughed up, they might go put him Sunday, and I think
Walker has to be pitching at some point.
So then maybe he would pitch Saturday.
Walker pitched Sunday, so he should pitch Saturday. So then it would be Saturday, and then Peterson would pitch Sunday.
And then, then you have to figure out Bassett too. I don't know.
Bassett.
They got the whole thing is they have to figure out where they're sliding in Peterson basically because he pitched Monday, so he could pitch
and they also
Sunday.
gave him a week before. It was a week and 3 days between starts that he went. So
you look at. I think Peterson personally, if you're gonna do it, is a good matchup against Philly because of Harper and Schwarber. They have the lefties, so pitching your one lefty against him.
Note Met fans that only Friday will be Gary, Keith, and Ron, or Gary and Ron. Keith is off for the weekend anyway.
Good for him.
Keith is staying in San Francisco, is what he's staying with his brother in San Francisco.
I'm going on Saturday anyway, so it's.
Friday,
and
Saturday is
on
Fox.
Sunday's
Sunday Night Baseball.
Is it? Oh, at least I get to watch it. I mean, stay up and watch it,
Well, Monday Memorial Day is.
Yeah, holiday weekend.
Washington, Monday night. Interesting. Apparently, so I don't know if you guys saw, but the Mets announced today that there's a game in August against the Braves. They got moved from a 1:40 because of Amazon on a Sunday to a 4:10 because of the fact
Peacock
or whatever the Sunday thing is that pushes the games out. But the reason why is because apparently Buck actually pushed for it to move the game because on Saturday they're doing a 1 o'clock and an 8 and a 7 o'clock split doubleheader with the Braves to make up one of those missed the first 2 weeks. Missed the first week.
One of the
games.
the 6 canceled games.
Yeah. So he lobbied because you have a day-night doubleheader on Saturday, and he was like, I'm not having my team play a 1 o'clock game on Sunday.
The Peacock games is 12:30.
They just did
right, but the Mets had the City Field had a Met game scheduled for 1 o'clock on Sunday, 1:20, whatever it is. But so they lobbied and got it moved to 4 whatever.
I guess they just did it on Saturday on Sunday. They just in Colorado it was they played a doubleheader and then played at 1 o'clock. It's the same thing, but I don't know. Whatever.
Well, wasn't that a single emission doubleheader? Oh no, it was a split doubleheader.
Like, how do you determine that? I always wondered that.
So most of the time, and I would assume it's the case with the Braves, it's money because you get 2 ticket revenues for
But these games are in Citi Field. It has nothing to do with the Braves.
But the Braves are a draw. There's plenty of fucking Braves fans because they were on TBS for 30 years.
Right. Yeah.
And
but
it's a big,
also
it's a rivalry.
The way that they determined those, Danny, was because it was the 6 games.
No, I know. I mean, I've always wondered the single mission and double mission. I've always
because they had I think it was the Nats. We had a rain out with the Nats, and they made it a split doubleheader.
Right.
Like 2 different emissions because it's the Mets are in town.
Right.
You get more revenue that way, and then
you get 2 sets of ticket sales, and
also you're getting different crowds coming in.
2 sets of parking.
I get the double mission. I'm just
right how they choose when they do single and double.
Right. Because it's not like it's so arbitrary.
I feel like it also has to do with like the timing, like during the week. You know, like look what happened with the Cardinal series. They called the Monday game, and they made it a single emission doubleheader the next day. And the Mets were probably like, it's a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Whoever comes is fine.
It's coming,
It's the
yeah.
Cardinals. It's a Tuesday.
Well,
You know,
yeah, I mean, the way they
were-
do tickets with that and stuff, you could just pick any game regardless, I think.
Listen, until where you play your crosstown rival 4 times in a week
Right.
type of thing, they always did it right with the Mets Yankees. You always set it up as a single emission doubleheader, one in each park, so that way you just keep it. Each park
They
gets
should-
the revenue for the
They
day.
should do that every year. That was a fun day. Those were fun days.
I think they should always play your quote unquote rival.
And how about Devin and Lauren, sorry, going to the Yankees doubleheader and seeing 1 run for
18 innings and 1 run.
He was not happy.
No, that was
No, at least
a
the Yankee
tough
game
day.
was. I do like the 7:00 Sunday night baseball start.
Yeah, they've done it the last couple of
100%.
years.
Yeah.
I do like that a lot better, especially because if you did get like a extra innings in it,
It's just
not
a normal.
terrible.
It's a normal
Yeah.
night game for us.
right now you're going till 11 if you get a couple extra innings instead of the
Right.
extra innings are first starting at 11,
Exactly.
10:30, 11.
So
that makes
you want
that
to
a lot
switch?
better.
Want to switch up to the Yankees and wrap it up? So they hit the injury and COVID, but big time this week.
They
Well,
have
it's the
COVID?
time of the year for Stanton to get hit.
I saw Stanton got hurt.
He's on the IL. Not
Chapman's
really
on the
surprised.
IL, even though he's been pitching like crap. Maybe that's why.
What's the time of the year? The Yankee. It's the middle of May, end of June, beginning of June. The Yankees go on the injured list. Again, remember it's 12 teams make the playoffs this year, right?
Judge is
Oh yeah,
the Judge is the best player in the league.
yeah. Judge is
Shocking.
Judge is
Shocking.
on a planet.
Real shocking.
Talk about betting on yourself, though. That guy's gonna hit 50 bombs and get a $400
by
million
August.
contract.
He's gonna hit 50 by August.
I-
Did you? Oh, you guys.
Well,
weren't
he's
listening today.
he could have 53. I think I sent someone. I forgot what it was.
He's on pace for like 53, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, he hit 51 the first year.
52.
I think it was 1. I think Pete hit 52.
Pete hit 53.
Oh, was it? Okay.
You could be right.
I
I
think
know
you're
Pete
right.
hit
Now that you're
53.
saying
Judge-
that, I think you're right.
According to Fangraphs, which just can't be right, he's on pace for 32 home runs.
That's
No,
not
that's
right.
just their projection.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
that's
that was
not
their
really
projection
pace.
going into the
I
year.
think that was their preseason projection for him. And projections are always, cautious. He's got 17 homers in 41 games. That's a
ESPN
homer
used to do it.
They are
It's
the
a
first
homer-
team to get
homer
the 30
every-
wins though this
over-
year. So
like every 2 games, pretty much. He hits a homer. So that's like he's on pace for like 17.
So ideally, he's going to be fine come the offseason. He'll get paid.
Oh, for sure. Just where will it be? He was 4th in the MVP voting last year. Really? That just doesn't seem right.
And how many teams make the playoffs this year? MLB 2022 playoffs. Isn't it like 50? Every team makes the playoffs except for like the Orioles.
It is. I think
Doesn't
you're
it
right.
sound like that? Every team except for the
It's-
Orioles are in.
No, it's not 12. It's 14. I think.
yeah, I think it's 7.
All
It's 7
6
in each
division
league.
winners earn a playoff.
It's 3 division winners and 4 wild cards, I think, and the top division winner gets a bye.
Seed 1, 2, 3, and then 4 through 6. So 3
it's only
division winners and 3
It's only
wild
6,
cards.
so it's 12.
So 12 total teams.
Okay, I thought it was 14. They were going back and forth on that with the lockout.
It says on Yahoo. Yep, used to be 4 teams, now it's 12. I forgot who I was talking to. Like, was it us that we were talking? Imagine playing like the Cubs, like they were your division rival.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was me
And
a
we
couple weeks ago.
Cardinals.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I
Imagine
want to see.
winning 98 games and not making the playoffs because only the division winner makes the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's a dumb fucking sport.
But they did that for how many years until the 90s?
1995.
Yep.
It's insane. The Yankees are gonna be fine. Just
Yeah,
they
no,
can't
they'll
call
100%
players Jackie
be fine.
Robinson. Just don't call players Jackie Robinson, and they'll be fine.
It's very clear that people don't like Josh Donaldson in general.
Well, yeah.
So maybe we were too hard on Garrett Cole for not liking Josh Donaldson.
Yeah.
Because like,
did you guys see Snacks' boo list? Really pissed off a lot of Yankee fans.
Okay,
Hold on, let me find my surprise face.
I have to make a comment on this, and I hope he hears this. He's not a guy who tweets like he doesn't tweet a lot usually. He's not like on It was a full day of responding to people, Danny.
Yeah,
he was unhinged.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was necessary.
That one guy called him a racist, and that set him off.
Okay, the racist thing said that was like that was a Jordan Binnington thing. People were calling him racist for throwing the water bottle at Kadri. That was a little over.
Clearly that makes him racist. Duh.
But he was just like the other people don't get.
And also the funniest was Sunday when he posted before they recorded Bleeding Blue. Justin took a photo of him and Snacks in front of the John Boy Media sign, and a lot of people were very upset. And one person was like tagging Jimmy O'Brien, "How can you let this guy in your office?" and all that other stuff. I thought it was hilarious. And it was like an NWO moment.
Yeah.
Which he was feeding off of.
The invasion of Snacks. He was.
You want to know why they let him?
I thought he was
all those responses.
But it's also
all
like
of that attention.
And he goes, "Yeah, I got in by myself. No big deal."
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's also. I mean, I've been there at the beginning with him. Like, they didn't get the joke. As soon as I saw him post it, I was like, "All right." I mean, whatever.
Yeah, everything was funny until the guy thought it was like he brought race into it when obviously it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's racist. That's why. Every single person.
You named every minority Yankee player. No, he didn't.
He also named half
Cole
the roster.
Cole was on there.
Yeah.
He named like 10 guys. That's almost half the roster. So.
Well, did you see someone tweeted out like, "Oh, how much has changed in a year since the first Knicks home playoff game last year?" And everyone's cheering Julius Randle, and I like retweeted it, and I was like, "Except for everyone could also hear Snacks booing him over everybody cheering him."
Yeah, he liked Randle last year. Don't let him fool you.
Listen, everybody liked Randle last year. And now everybody
I actually
hopes
wore
they figure
my
out a
Randle
way
jersey on Sunday. I'm like, I gotta wear this at least one time, so I wore it.
And now everybody's trying to figure out how are they going to get rid of him before the contract comes into place.
Yeah, how are they going to trade him?
I'm sure Utah would love that contract. I feel like Utah would absolutely adore having that contract.
Right.
With especially with Donovan Mitchell sitting front row at all the Met games this summer.
Just having conversations.
Honestly, he's been
just chilling.
He's always been to Met games, so that's not a story.
But he's always been to Met games, but he's never been noticeable at Met games. Now he's sitting literally behind home plate in the front row,
he's coming to
Lindor during at bats.
Whether it works out or not, he's coming to the
Knicks. Sooner or later, he's going to be a Knick, and whether it's
unfortunately,
knowing the NBA,
knowing the Knicks will be 10 years after the fact.
Right. Exactly.
He'll be done by the time he's a Knick. But my favorite was when the Knicks got the 11th overall pick, everyone on Twitter was like, "Nobody cares who the Knicks are gonna pick. Who's Utah gonna pick when we trade them the pick?"
Right.
'Cause that's what we want. That's what everybody wants.
I wish Snacks would have been on because I wanted to ask him about the Mickey Mantle jersey thing.
There's two people watching.
No, the
this,
DiMaggio jersey thing because that was dumb.
Oh, Thibodeau.
That was
Yeah.
if you guys are actually that protective over your jerseys and your numbers, just get a life. Honestly, just get a life.
Listen,
People are
also,
actually mad about it.
He was. I mean, I don't know if he was actually mad about it. It seemed like other people were actually mad about it.
in fairness to Thibodeau,
I
the Yankees don't really have the numbers to give out anyway.
I remember jokingly talking about it on Sunday.
I don't know if he was serious, but he definitely tweeted about it. I can't always tell when he's serious or joking. But there were other Yankee fans like, seriously, like, this is garbage. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? At least they didn't put a name on the back. I mean, if they would have put a name on the back, the building would have burned down.
Again,
This is where Snacks' Italian comes out, and it's also Joe DiMaggio. So I'm
Right.
sure that played a lot.
That's what it is, right? Frank Sinatra, Joe DiMaggio, you can't mess with them, I guess.
again,
There's a
in fairness,
black and white picture of him hanging on the wall over the stove.
In fairness, again, the Yankees don't have any numbers to actually give out to these guys, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Well, you would think if they were given and not bringing in a defensive lineman, they would have been okay number-wise, but
Well, the NFL changed all the rules.
We bucked that trend now.
Outside linebacker.
I'm sorry, outside linebacker.
Did you see his necklace on that?
I didn't.
Well, he had to put a shame to sauces on from draft night. The giant thing that.
And
when
how about
they drafted
Dable,
him, I
4-0
texted
at
Devin,
Ranger
goes,
games?
well, shocking. All the same players basically, except for the new Giant guys that were at Islander games last year. All the Jets are now at the Ranger games.
Oh, yeah.
Shocking, because they get free tickets and get sent to these games, and everyone makes such a big
Why
deal
would you
out
not
of it.
go? But I also don't.
Also, shout out Keith Hernandez. Speaking of Jets going to sporting events, when Zach Wilson was at the Met game and wearing a Wilson jersey,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Keith goes, "Oh, look at him rocking the Mookie jersey," and Gary's like, "No, that's his last name."
I don't get people saying like.
People get mad over everything, so it's really who cares?
Listen, I'm looking at the positive of our head coach being at the Ranger games. He hasn't lost a game since becoming the Giants head coach.
The other players in the other sports are gonna. People flipped out that the Mets went to the Ranger game. Who fucking cares?
Right.
Other people from other sports are gonna go to both teams' games, so it's not. This isn't a Jet. The Jets like the Islanders and the Giants like the Rangers. It's just dumb.
Half of the players on these teams aren't even from the state of New York. They probably don't even like any of the teams they're going to.
Do you think Francisco Lindor had any idea what was going on in that hockey game?
He actually wore his Adam Fox jersey that Adam Fox gave him last year.
Okay, I mean that's good. He's just a nice guy, though.
And also,
he has no idea what the fuck's going on.
And also, he had his how old is his daughter now? Like 7 months old. Was at that game, and they went.
Yeah. Was she?
Wasn't that the game?
That
wasn't the 4 over. That wasn't game 1 against Pittsburgh, was it?
No. It was the clincher.
Was it the clincher, or was
Pretty
it
sure
maybe one of the other? It was the Sunday game. Whatever the Sunday game was.
No,
it was late. It was late, and he had a baby with him.
No, it was the day.
Parenting one.
We had a day game.
Yeah, it was Sunday. No, it was the night of the.
No, the Sunday was a 3:00 puck drop.
Oh.
It was the night of the Pete walk-off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was
the clincher.
Yeah. Anyway.
But still, who cares? Let them. It's the off season. It's the same thing with all these people. Like, oh my God, Deebo Samuel's not at OTAs. There's a reason it's called optional training assignment.
See, there are things with those. Some of the times it's warranted. That Deebo, I don't really care. But this is personal. Rodgers isn't there. You just drafted 2 new wide receivers. You signed Sammy Watkins. Get your ass to OTAs. Figure it out.
He's gonna close his eyes, throw the ball in the air, and Sammy Watkins is gonna be in the end zone. So it's gonna be fine. Ben. He revives corpse. Think about it. Jimmy Graham still plays because of Aaron Rodgers.
Sammy Watkins is going to put on a hoodie and pretend he's James Jones and catch like 15 touchdowns this year.
Excuse me, he's not allowed.
That's it. 3-0.
He's not allowed to wear hoodies under his jerseys anymore.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
that will no longer be happening.
Anything
Vincent.
else?
It was nice knowing Nick Leddy in the playoffs. It'll be really nice to see you in a Minnesota Wild jersey next year.
Nick Leddy. Yeah. Honestly,
Shout
bring
out
him back.
Devontae's going to Western Conference Finals.
Love it. Those second-round picks were awesome.
Excuse me, Antti Rada was one of those second-round picks.
He was one of the second-round picks, and I think they traded the other one.
No, it's this year. I'm pretty sure they have it this year.
I thought it was last year because the picks were the year before and last year. They
have Colorado's pick this year.
Oh, okay. So is that too ready?
2 conditional picks traded July 17, 2021. Coyotes received 2 picks.
They sent one to Coyote. I thought they sent one for Ladd. One of them went to Ladd.
Right. And if I remember, they didn't get anything back. For
Ladd, no, it was nothing. It was take this guy and these picks and go away. Which is dumb. That's just not a trade. Just inherently, it's not a trade. But whatever.
Whatever worked, they got rid of him.
Yeah, doesn't matter to me.
Trade that the Islanders made to get him was from Edmonton via Detroit.
What?
The Edmonton Oilers' second-round pick went to the Islanders as a result of a trade that sent Leddy to Detroit.
Oh, they got okay.
So Edmonton sent that pick to Detroit.
Pick
from Detroit, yeah. So technically that makes Antti Rada from Nick Leddy.
That was okay. That was the Roddy pick. Okay, got it.
And Richard Panik, who played well and then got sent to the
Richard Panik was fine for like 2 weeks.
2 COVID weeks.
Yeah, when the world was dead. Was it the Islander world?
I did like the UBS stats, the arena stats that came out. The highest revenue arena of the season.
They apparently sold out all the games. Whether people went or not, I don't know, but they sold out the games.
Towards the end, you saw more empty seats, but tickets sold, probably box office wise, was definitely 100%.
They were like 4th in the league in I think attendance. They were like one of the only ones that had 100%. I think.
You know what I find interesting in all sports? Like when I was at that Met game, the Max Scherzer pitch, the official attendance was like 32,000 people. There wasn't more than 20,000 people there.
I don't know how they calculate these things or do whatever.
It's tickets already sold.
That's got to be what it is. But I think with the fact that everything is scanned now, you should be able to have legit.
You could count it. Yeah.
Right. Every time a scanner gets beeped.
You were able to scan tickets before too, so it's the same thing.
Right. Yeah, but now they should be calculating it that way instead of.
I'm sure they do. They just don't want to be embarrassed and say it.
They don't want to say that there's 15,000 people here in a 45,000 seat stadium on a Tuesday night.
Well, it's time to be realistic.
Anyway,
listen, they have a random 1:00 game in June on a Monday in June coming up. So
random.
Well, Kyle Oleta just got picked up by the New Jersey Generals.
That sentence made absolutely nothing.
Also,
I know. I haven't watched the second, which is fun.
Also,
I watched 1 second because Jeff Fisher was coaching, and then I turned it off.
Also, did you guys hear that Christian McCaffrey's already out for the season because he did the stupid hurricane thing, noisemaker at game 1 or game 2? They have that noisemaker thing and they makes the hurricane siren, and Christian McCaffrey did it. And also shout out Mike Glennon did it also.
That's a hell of a combo right there.
Hey, they won the game, and that's all that matters. Did he get signed somewhere? I know he hasn't won a football game in 1,000 years. Oh, he played at NC State. That makes sense. He was. I forgot he was a 3rd-round pick out of NC State to the Buccaneers. I don't think he's won a game since he's been in NC State, but anyway. I don't know about you guys also, but I'm excited about the Drew Brees return to football this year.
Great. If he comes back, it's going to be in San Francisco.
No, he's going back to New Orleans.
What's his face brought it up the other day? Like they're still looking for a trade once he heals up. Very weird.
Who?
Yeah, it was. You've never see a
The
coach say,
Shanahan.
"Yeah, we're trading this guy. It's just a matter of him getting
That
healthy."
they're trading Jimmy?
Yeah, no, he flat out said it in his press conference.
He's
Very
such a
weird.
douchebag.
I mean, it kind of helps a little bit in a way if you want to think about it. It puts that, like, okay, Trey, you're our quarterback this year, no matter what.
Sure, it takes the pressure off of him. And
Now
eyes.
you're not thinking of, okay, camp comes
Now
around.
I
am
don't have to win
fighting
my
for-
job. On
He probably still has to win his job, but anyway,
against who?
Debo's gonna come in at camp and be like, "Yo, I'm quarterback now."
He wants out
Him and
That's right.
Jimmy G
for Jordan Love. Done.
Yeah, that'll be great. Rodgers and imagine that sideline. The women would be going nuts.
What? Be awesome.
You may not win any games, but the women will go nuts on the side.
Attendance. I mean, we don't have to worry about attendance, but
Oh, and see, now there's a racist Blues player because he hit.
Okay, they've been going after him for 2 games. They're cheap shotting the fuck out of this guy.
Well, that's what happens when the goalie throws a water bottle at him.
Let's see. Oh, it's just a high stick.
Oh, that's nothing.
That's fine. It's just a.
It's still going to be a penalty. It's still
going to be it's a penalty. He might have been bleeding, but that's not on purpose. I retract my statement.
Here comes the Blues fan saying that he cut himself on purpose while he was on the ground.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All righty, boys. That is the end of this episode. We will talk to everybody in a couple weeks.
See ya.